What's up guys, OJ here, and we've got a big Dragon Quest update that I felt was important to get to you guys and give my thoughts on everything because some new information has been revealed after I had my original video that I did a day or so ago. So in that video, I talked about how the official Dragon Quest page has stated that yes, the legacy will begin. Erdrick's quest is drawn near. It was exciting that they finally mentioned something with Dragon Quest III HD-2D Remake, but now Midori has come up with some new information on this, stating that it could or it should be at the June Nintendo Direct, and it's been upgraded from just Dragon Quest III to the Dragon Quest 1 through 3 HD 2D remakes. So there's supposed to be multiple ones in here, maybe in one package. We also have a big update on Dragon Quest 12 and the expectations that Yuji Horii is putting on himself to deliver this game. So these are two big pieces of Dragon Quest information that I wanted to talk about and get my opinion on. Now, before we get into all of that, please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you are someone new, and click that notification bell to get my videos first. Now let's go ahead and jump right into it here. We're going to get into what Midori has to say here. Now, she stated that the Dragon Quest III HD 2D remake, or now the Lotto trilogy as it's being dubbed here, that will be at the Nintendo Direct. So on Twitter, here is what Midori had to say. I am currently hearing that Dragon Quest III HD 2D will be at the next Nintendo Direct. That was on May 27th, she stated that. So fairly recently as of the time that I'm recording this video. And then someone said out this year in question, like, hey, out this year. And that's something that I felt that they would do, that it would be 2024. And then Midori responds with, this is correct information by the end of this fiscal year. So she said fiscal year. So that could go out into next year if she's going based off of Square Enix's fiscal year. And then another question was posed to her saying, do you think that it will only be 3 or 1, 2, and 3? And then she states that I think it's the Lotto trilogy or the Loto trilogy. So that is definitely good information overall. If we get all 3 of them, that would be super exciting. It's like, hey, look, we already have Dragon Quest 1, 2, and 3 on the Nintendo Switch and platforms where they've updated the visuals a bit, looks a bit smoother and everything, which is nice. But to get a full HD 2D remake of Dragon Quest 1, 2, and 3, Erdrick's whole trilogy, man, that would be wild, and that would be super cool if they were able to do that. I would like that quite a bit because, once again, we've talked about Dragon Quest 3 being one of the best games in the series, but if they can make some tweaks to 1 and 2 to kind of put those up into where Dragon Quest 3 is, now obviously it might not have certain things that we all love about Dragon Quest 3 in there from a story perspective or certain gameplay elements, but if they added some quality of life features to all of the Dragon Quest games 1, 2, and 3, which I know that they will, man, that would be a great thing for fans out there. Now I'm wondering, will they still just charge $60? I'm guessing this is just going to be a $60 thing here, which originally they probably could have got $60 just for Dragon Quest III HD 2D remake. So if they add in all of here with the Loto trilogy, man, that is a lot of added value into the package. Think about that just for a second, guys, because everyone that's a Dragon Quest fan was going to buy this game for $60, but if they include all 3 games and then still say it's 60, man, that would be something to see. Now, I do want to talk about this just a little bit because some of you guys might be thinking, well, wait a minute, who's this Midori? Why are people always referencing her? Why is she going up in all these subscribers and followers and all of that? And I would say this, she has good information because we just got an official confirmation that Bleach Brave Souls is coming to the Xbox One and Switch this summer. This was officially announced by K-Lab Games. And just prior to this, I had a video talking about how Midori stated that there will be a Bleach game released for the Nintendo Switch this year. And here we go. We get an announcement. So she absolutely has some type of sources or access to marketing material or something available to her because nobody else was reporting on Bleach coming to the Nintendo Switch. And she reported on that. and it is 100% correct right now at this point. So she has good sources. Now, Bleach Brave Souls is not a game that I'm excited for, and it's not necessarily a great game or anything. It's available for the PlayStation 4, PC, iOS, and Android. It's also coming to Xbox One. But yeah, it's kind of like a mobile type of game. I'm good on that. I was hoping they would do the Bleach games from the Nintendo DS and remaster those, but yeah, that would not be fun. They don't like fun when it comes to anime games. I like just putting out whatever they feel will make them the most money overall. So it is what it is, whatever on that front. But anyway, yeah, Bleach Brave Souls will be coming to Switch and Xbox, and she got that right. So Midori definitely knows what she's talking about. She's incredibly knowledgeable, and she has correct information overall. So I do believe that yes, it will be the Loto trilogy, and we will be getting some awesome information on that very soon. I think this is going to be a hype announcement. Yes, we still need to take it not necessarily as 100%, but it will be a hype announcement during the Nintendo Direct. If they say, all right, here's Dragon Quest, but now you get 1, 2, and 3. A lot of fans, when it comes to Nintendo fans, have gotten used to Dragon Quest being on their platform, and we had Hero in Super Smash Bros. So there's a lot more Dragon Quest fans now after Super Smash Bros. With Hero and Dragon Quest XI than there was before all of this. There's a lot more new Dragon Quest fans, so this is absolutely good information here. Now let's get into the next piece of Dragon Quest awesomeness. Yuji Horii, Dragon Quest 12. He states some important things on this, on what he wants to do and the ambition that he has for this. So one of the major games that we're still waiting on, people are excited for, Dragon Quest 12, The Flames of Fate, which was announced all the way back in May 2021. So we're 3 years plus now from the original announcement, and we have not seen a shred of gameplay. Now that Dragon Quest Day, Dragon Quest series creator Yuji Horii took to social media, Twitter/X, and provided a little bit of an update on the game. So he said this, quote, "Thank you so much to everyone for the many Dragon Quest Day congratulations. There have been some worry about Dragon Quest 12, but I was actually in a meeting about it until just a bit ago. While I can't share any details yet, I want it to be something worthy of the two Akira Toriyama and Koichi Suigama, who passed away. I'll do my best." So this is exactly what I want to hear. Now, it would be great to actually see some footage or something, but I'm guessing that they're waiting for the right opportunity to show this game. Now, there were reports that this game was having some trouble in development. They were shuffling staff, and if you look at it based off of the turmoil that Square Enix kind of was thrown in with their AAA IPs and changing the narrative when it comes down to it, and aggressively pursuing multi-platform releases and completely revamping their internal teams and what they're going to be doing, I'm guessing Dragon Quest 12 was absolutely something that was embroiled in this. What platforms it's going to be on, what they're going to focus on, how they're going to do things, what they're going to do with marketing, how to make this a big hit. This is large scale. Hundreds, if not thousands of people involved overall, from marketing, the people that work at Square Enix, businesses, shareholders. There's a lot riding on this game, especially after what happened with Final Fantasy 16 and Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, with those games obviously not carrying tons of sales, like 10 million plus sales or anything like that. They've got to make sure that Dragon Quest 12 is absolutely a major success and above what Dragon Quest 11 did. Well, how are you going to do that? Obviously, the platforms that it releases on, the timing, the game itself, everything needs to align. You need to make sure that you get this one right. So I think those are all of the reasons why that this game has been taking quite some time to kind of get done and to be shown off, because it's been 3 years now and we've gotten nothing. So here's what I think that they're going to do going forward with Dragon Quest 12. I do think that it's going to be a multi-platform release. This is going to release on PC, it's going to release on Xbox, it's going to release on PlayStation 5, and it's going to release on the Nintendo Switch 2. I think the game is not necessarily close enough to where they're going to put it on the Switch. They could put it on there. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a Switch version that was a little bit different than the other versions when it comes to resolution and frame rate and all of that. Now, you have to remember, Dragon Dragon Quest 11, and that was released on the Nintendo 3DS. It was exclusive in Japan. They didn't really localize it to any other countries from what I understand, but that sold over 1 million units plus, even though the Nintendo 3DS was well on its way out at that point in 2017. So they still made a version completely for that audience with a big install base in Japan. So I would just not be surprised if this game does come out to the Nintendo Switch base, but I do think that they are looking and evaluating and saying, hey, if we really want to sell copies of this game, especially in Japan, if it's coming out in the next 2 years or whenever the case is, it's got to be on Nintendo Switch too. Maybe we get a Game Pass deal. If it's on Xbox, that's cool. That's just like free money from Xbox or from Microsoft. And then of course, PlayStation 5, that has to be, because that has the biggest reach in terms of global as of their evaluation right now at this point for the higher end systems for the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series PC. Obviously, you probably have more fans out of those on PlayStation, so it makes sense to have it on there as well. So I do expect it to be a big multi-platform release across those systems. If they can do Nintendo Switch 2, Xbox, PC, and PlayStation 5, I think that guarantees you're going to get some pretty good sales right off the jump. You should be able to sell 5-6 million units within a year, maybe even shorter than that, if this game lives up to the reputation of what Dragon Quest XI S did. So many new fans came over from that, and that game has sold really well. From the last numbers that I remember seeing, it was like at 6 million plus or something like that, which is incredibly good for Dragon Quest. Now it can take the next step if the game ends up being this huge revelation that they say that it's going to be, where they completely change the tone, but they still kind of harken back to what makes Dragon Quest awesome, but add in a lot of cool things that's going to get even more people to give it a shot, because it'll probably be a brand new story where you don't really need to have any knowledge of the previous Dragon Quest games. Like most Dragon Quest titles are just a completely new story, new cast of characters, but same enemies, same certain areas and things like that. So I'm guessing that's what this is going to be, and I think that that will be awesome for the Dragon Quest series, and of course to bring Dragon Quest to an even bigger audience than before. But they have to make sure that they kind of cross all their T's and dot all their I's here. He talked about how he was in a meeting recently about it just a bit ago, so they are gearing up. It's just the thing with this, guys, is that Square Enix has had a lot of issues when it comes to what they're doing internally. The sales are not meeting expectations. They have that big reorganization in terms of what their company philosophies are going to be and their new 3-year plan. So obviously the games that you're making are all going to be affected in that type of way. So Dragon Quest 12 is absolutely one of those games that has probably been reworked quite a bit, has probably been retooled. They're looking at platforms. They're trying to say, okay, we need to start developing it on multiple platforms, because before it might have just been like a Switch and PlayStation 5 game or something like that. So they are trying to adjust when it comes down to it. So I think that it's going to be really good on that. And I feel personally here with this game, this could really be the game that truly gets Dragon Quest to the superstardom, to like the 10 million units plus. This could be their Persona 5 moment for Dragon Quest. And if it was, that would be a resounding, okay, here we go when it comes to traditional or classic, the turn-based combat, which I do think that it's going to stay turn-based. Some people are thinking they were going to go action RPG. There might be some elements of action RPG in there. Maybe it's a bit of a hybrid like we see with Metaphor Refantazio, but I don't think that it's going to be straight up full action RPG. I think that would kill or somewhat kill the series. There have been quite a number of games, and I think I want to do a separate video on this, that have tried to go the action RPG route and have consistently not sold up to where they went to before. And I think that, to me, when you have a certain style of gameplay, it's cool to add in new elements and things, but if you don't have a resounding change in terms of, okay, this is universally better than what you did before, you're going to have some sales disappointments, like we saw with Yokai Watch. That game, or that series, almost completely died because of what they did. Actually kind of died. I mean, we'll see what they do with the next level 5 Vision event. We're seeing with Final Fantasy, yes, they went to action, and I completely get all that, but they have not hit the highs that they hit with the turn-based RPGs back in the day. And really only Final Fantasy 15, that's the only action RPG out of all of them when it comes to the mainline games and non-MMOs that have actually hit up to where the previous turn-based RPGs, ATV RPGs have been. So I really feel that Square Enix needs to be careful with this one, and I think that could have been some of their meetings as well. Maybe they had more action elements and decided to tone that back. Look at what happened with Final Fantasy. Look at what's happened with Yokai Watch. Look at what's happened with some of these other titles where they haven't had the best transition. So I think that could also be something that they're thinking about as well, along with everything else that I talked about here. But what do you guys think when it comes to Dragon Quest and what's been happening here? Dragon Quest 3 HD-2D Remake. Apparently it's going to be Dragon Quest 1 through 3 HD-2D Remake. And of course, Dragon Quest 12, and how they want to make something that's worthy of the legends that have helped create and build the brand. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and check out my other Nintendo Switch and RPG videos right here on screen. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you for the next one. Peace.